All right, I wanted to talk about this little clip that I saw just a few minutes ago. Geraldo, talking about the hoodie and about the crime rate in bigger cities. So let's just get started.
I was right about the hoodie, wasn't I? I mean, I hate to brag, but I got criticized by every pundit in America when I said that Trayvon Martin would be alive today but for the fact that he was wearing thug wear. He was wearing the hoodie.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. He probably would still be alive too if he didn't beat up George. You'd think? Come on, Geraldo. How many millions of kids walk around every day with a hoodie and they don't get shot? It's ridiculous. As much as I agree with you that he wouldn't have been as suspicious, if he would have been wearing a basketball outfit or something and was dribbling his basketball as he walked down the sidewalk, yeah, I'd agree. Absolutely, clothing makes a big difference. But in this case, it was all about the assault. Geraldo, remember that. This is real important. Pay attention. Assault. Assault is why you get shot, okay?
Turns out, now we look at George Zimmerman's interviews with the police. He didn't profile Trayvon Martin because he was black. He profiled him because he was wearing a hoodie. He was a strange kid.
No, he profiled him because he looked just like the other kids in the neighborhood that were causing the trouble. That's all. And it wasn't profiling. It was just absolutely noticing, paying attention. Just like they tell you in the neighborhood watch program. You pay attention. You look for suspicious people. Who are suspicious people? People who try to cover their faces, people who look in houses and walk unusually. They might be out in the rain, in the dark, in an odd hour or time that it's you wouldn't expect. These are the kind of things that give us suspicion, okay? The clothes did help, but that isn't the point. That isn't what led to the shooting.
Didn't recognize him wearing the same garb that had been worn by previous perpetrators of house break-ins in his community. So the headline is, Zimmerman is not a racist. Trayvon Martin would be alive today if he wasn't wearing thug wear, if he wasn't wearing that hoodie.
Let's make a new title and we'll say George Zimmerman isn't a racist. And then we might end it by saying Trayvon would be alive today if he didn't attack George. How's that?
Now, jump cut to the demonstrations that followed the killing of Trayvon Martin by George Zimmerman. Every civil rights icon in the nation, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Ben Jealous of the NAACP, everybody demonstrating in Sanford, Florida and elsewhere, protesting the purported racism that underlied the tragic death of the unarmed teenager, 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in Sanford, Florida. Where is that same outrage? Where is that same feeling of concern in Chicago where 275 African-American kids...
Great point. 275 kids in Chicago. Isn't that Obama's town? Dead. But, did they look like Trayvon or did they look like they could be his son? Maybe they were too dark. Maybe Obama doesn't like those real dark guys. I don't know. Maybe he's racist because he's half white and he was raised by white people. Maybe he's more racist than George. George was raised with black people. Maybe. I'm just saying.
Have killed each other this year alone. Where is Jesse Jackson? It's his hometown. Where is Al Sharpton? Where is the protest? Where is the concern?
Right, let's put up some of the statistics to show folks just exactly how bad it is. In Chicago right now, murders are up 39%, shootings are up 9%. In New York, the murder is up 17%, shootings are up 12%.
Take a look at these statistics. Now remember, Florida, the statistics are about opposite of that. They just go straight down. If you were to look at the Florida statistics, they would be kind of like what you'd see in New York, only reverse. Instead of going up, they go down. And that was since we passed Stand Your Ground. So Stand Your Ground has reduced murder, reduced shootings and crime in almost every facet of crime. And in the cities that absolutely outlaw the guns, guess what? Crime goes up. Amazing how that works out. Now, we've been telling you guys that for a long time, but nobody wants to listen. There's one town that requires every home to have a gun. Guess what? No crime. It's amazing stuff.
And this prompted Ray Kelly to say this, Geraldo.
I'd like to see some political outcry. The fact of the matter is 96% of our shooting victims are people of color. Yet these community leaders are not speaking out about that.
So he's basically saying, this is the police chief, New York, and he's saying, look at all these black guys that are getting killed, and where is Jesse Jackson? Where is Al Sharpton? Why aren't they speaking out? Why aren't they calling the young people together and getting all the fathers and saying, fathers, come together, take care of your children. You know, stand up. Bring them in. Make sure they're home after dark. Make sure they're not bringing home strange stuff that doesn't belong to them. Make sure that they're not on drugs. Make sure that they don't have a grill. You know, make sure they're dressing properly. These are things that a good father does. He just wants to make sure that his son's safe and his son is going to grow up and have all these good things in his life, right? That's what these leaders should be doing. Come on, let's be good fathers. Go to the fathers. Let's talk to the fathers. The women are doing the best they can. They're working their asses off. It's the fathers. You know, they think that they can drop the seed and go off and hit another one. No. You know, that's it. They need to teach this in high school.
We'd like to hear from them.
And what Ray Kelly said was, you know, they're not talking about this high murder rate. Instead, they're complaining about our stop and frisk policy here in New York.
The stop and frisk policy has some problems. It is racially
Now, we already know about that. That is definitely a problem, but they are stopping people that look like they're criminals, and you know, nothing we can do about that. That's just the way it's got to be. You know, if you don't want to be stopped and frisked, don't look like a criminal. You know, and you say, well, I'm black, you know, everybody thinks I'm a criminal because I'm black. I'm a big guy. I'm strong. I got big arms, and I've got I've got those features that scare people. Well, you know what I say to that? You know, I understand that that's unfortunate. You don't have any power over that. But what you can do is you can dress in a way that makes people feel less threatened. You know, if it's hot out and you need to wear cool clothes, wear a basketball suit or something, you know, carry a basketball with you. Man, I'm telling you, guys with basketballs walk around in my town without any problem. You got a basketball, you got a little basketball outfit on, who's worried about you? But if you're walking around with a hoodie on in Florida, we're going, what the hell? Even in the winter, I mean, what was it, 68 degrees? Come on, it's not necessary.
Using a concept of racial profiling, it is inevitable. 87% of those stopped are black and Latino. But that's where most of the crimes are committed. That's where most of the stops and frisks happen. And it is the easing off of stop and frisk, I maintain, that has led to this unusual
But it's not based on racial profiling. You're not suggesting that the stop and frisk is...
See, this is where they get into, you know, this is the problem for police. They're like, well, you're not allowed to profile. You know, but if the cop's going down the road and he sees two guys that look like they're up to no good, it doesn't matter what color they are. And you know, if you come across 10 situations where each time you have to make an assessment, you know, you can't just look at that situation and say, well, they're black, I can't even look at them. No, you're going to look at them and you're going to make the assessment. Then you're going to look at the white guys, you're going to make the assessment. That's just the way it is. Watch cops, you'll see the white guys get stopped too. But they get stopped less because they look less suspicious. You know, the guys that are wearing hoodies, they do. Look at the 7-Eleven video where the guys walked in after Trayvon left. I tell you right now, if I were a cop, they'd be the first ones I'd stop. Those guys look suspicious.
based on racial profiling.
I don't want to play a semantic game.
No,
it is certainly not irrelevant.
But it's important, though, because
it is not irrelevant to the cop's eye who stops the
yeah, but so you think they're stopping people because they're black or Hispanic?
I think they are stopping people because they have an inkling that criminal activity is afoot. They take in the bundle of facts and circumstances.
Are they stopping people?
One of which is what the kids
in high crime neighborhoods.
And high crime neighborhoods,
right?
Generally
that was the accusation. That's why they stopped doing the stuff.
That was, and they had the huge march, and I was in the march, and I filmed the march several weeks ago here in New York, over 25,000 protesting stop and frisk. I want to see that same 25,000 protesting the 275 killings in Chicago, black on...
Better than that, get all those people that all over the country were protesting the shooting of Trayvon, have them protest the murder of black on black. Wouldn't that be great? Start requiring, insisting that all black people snitch on other black people whenever they do crimes. Do like my mom says. Go ahead and commit a crime and let me find out, and I'll call the cops on you. And I know a lot of black mamas that are like that would put your ass in jail. They don't care if you're her son. You're going to jail. Those are the good ones, the good mamas. When I was growing up, that's how it was. Back in my day, you didn't see a lot of black on black crime. It just didn't happen. You didn't see much black crime at all. Not in my town, because they were well behaved. Everybody was well behaved. Everybody. And to get ahead in life, they couldn't do anything but be well behaved. And now look what happens. They're certainly the ones that are being bad are not getting ahead. They might get rich with the drugs and all that stuff, but they're not getting ahead. They're not happy.
Do you agree with what Ray Kelly is saying?
I think Ray Kelly is the best police commissioner we have ever had. I wish he was police commissioner of every city in the land. I think he is absolutely even-handed.
Yeah. New York City police is a little military, a small military. It's out of control. And maybe this guy's good. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about him, but I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't go to New York.
This former Marine, this granite-jawed tough guy, I wish he would run for mayor next year here in New York. He has said he will not. But I lament he is going. I fear that community organizations and the power of some of the...
Anyway, who cares, Geraldo? The point is, crime has gone up dramatically in those cities where guns are disallowed. Dramatically. Where Stand Your Ground has been passed since 2005 when Florida passed it. All those places have seen a decrease in crime. So that should be loud and clear. Anyone that wants to argue that point, I'd be happy to hear their statistics to prove me wrong. And as far as George being a racist, now we know that was pure bunk. It was just used as a way to stir up the racism that's going on in this country and to make minorities feel that that they need to rise up. Well, let me tell you, rise up against white people and see what happens. I mean, not that there would be a race war. It wouldn't be a race war. It would be no jobs. It would be no food. There would be no anything. We would stop moving. Our country would stop. If there was any kind of military activity in our country, you think people would be going to work? You think bosses would pay you your salary? No. And if people in general became afraid of black people because they started a racial war, or they were killing white people, even if it was a small minority, all black people would suffer that. All black people, because you're driving down the road and, oh boy, this might be one of the guys that are shooting at us, and we know that they're black. Remember what happened to the Arabs after 9/11? Do you remember that? All the Arabs suffered because of the activity of a handful of people. And that's what can happen. That's why it's so important that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and all the other ones stand up and say, enough, stop it, and insist, get everybody come together. Have these big marches, but have marches that say, save black men. Black men, come home, take care of your children. Those are the marches we need. Good talking to you guys.